welcome to Well Rounded Momma's YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. If you find this video helpful, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll get notifications from us, hopefully every Thursday, if we have
on our game.
Yes. If we're not at birth delivering babies.
We're not.
This month, our topic of conversation is all about babies. So today, our topic specifically is going to be about creating a baby birth plan. When you're developing a birth plan, it's a little bit difficult when you're having a home birth because it's not like you're like, don't do this or do this, because midwives kind of talk to you through everything that they're doing because shared decision making is so important. However, we do encourage our clients to create something called a baby plan, the things that are really important to you about baby. Because in the event of a transport, or you go to the hospital, or maybe you were planning a home birth plan and you just saw a midwife for prenatal care, when you go to the hospital, it's very difficult to communicate when you're like in the middle of the throes of labor and having a baby and how overwhelming that is, to communicate what you want successfully. We've actually filmed this before. We're doing it take 2 because my phone did not save the video. So we're doing it again. And so what I thought we could do is go around and share whether it was our personal choice or our personal decision, something a client did, or what you think is the most important thing. Because we always recommend having maybe 5 things of importance or less on a baby plan so as not to overwhelm your staff. And so we always say, choose the most important things. Because if you write a book about what you do or don't want, no one's got time for that. Most important, we'll start over here.
Hi, I'm Emily Encinosa, and I'm one of our brand new midwives here. And yay. Tori actually gave me this one that I've been using as a doula for a long time. Yeah, tired and true. Sorry, girl. And it is putting a time on delayed cord clamping. So instead of just saying that you want delayed cord clamping or 30 to 60 seconds and leaving it pretty ambiguous, actually putting like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or even, instead of just leaving it for until the cord stops pulsating, because then when somebody's calling birth time or your partner or your doula is paying attention to birth time, we actually know when that time has passed and we have the opportunity to decline and just ensure that you truly get that delay.
That's a good one.
That is a really good one.
Thanks, Tori.
Since Emily stole mine, I'll go to my number 2 one. And I know this sounds kind of silly because I think a lot of women try to breastfeed or, intend on breastfeeding. And some of the hospitals say they're breastfeeding friendly and it's kind of implied. But I have been to a handful of births where I've walked in and seen a nurse feeding baby a bottle while mom's sleeping. So I always have my clients put that they're breastfeeding and that they don't want a bottle, and if a bottle or formula is needed, that needs to be a conversation with them, just so that nurses don't take liberties, or if they end up going into the NICU, it's not just assumed that it's okay, that there's a conversation about like breastfeeding and formula feeding.
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Shana, and for me, I'm gonna go off of my birth experience because was the best. For me, it's skin to skin. To me, that was something number 1 on my list that I really, really wanted. I think because I was still in zombie mode, Sherry's like, oh, you can pick him up now. And I was like, oh, I can? So I picked him up and I just as I'm all over the place, I love
on Tiffanie.
I just love being able to hold him and have that time and not feel rushed, and being in my home and being around my support was literally just the best. Just taking that time, because you're never going to get that back. Your baby is only that small for that long. Actually, I might get emotional, it's fine. But to me, that's just the best 5 whatever minutes of my life that I'm always going to treasure, being able to hold my baby and have that bonding minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And some other things that we talked about last time that we added to that was making sure too that when, I think Jillian had said that, and she's not here today, she's one of our other student midwives, she had made the comment to make sure that your birth team or the nurses or your partner is unbuttoning your shirt and making sure that they're kind of taking that towel away so that you're really truly getting that skin to skin if you plan on being in the hospital.
I'll just close it.
Okay.
I was not prepared for this. Something important to me on my baby plan was just that before they did anything, that informed consent was talked about, before they poked baby, before they took baby out of the room, that my husband always went with baby. I just didn't like the idea of my baby being away from me. Skin to skin was my favorite thing as well, because you just get to meet your baby.
I would say is no baths.
Yeah.
That would be one of, if I was having a baby in the hospital, I would recommend no baths because your baby's not dirty. They don't need a bath. And I can't tell you when I was a doula how many times I heard nurses be like, but the baby's dirty. And I'm like,
With what?
they weren't playing out in the mud. They just came out of a mom's body and it's all her stuff. So she doesn't care. So they don't need a bath. Very rarely do I give babies a bath at home. Unless their hair is really gross. Sometimes I'll wash their hair.
Charlie's
but-
hair was super
Blood.
gross.
When there's blood
Yeah,
on
when
a
there's
baby,
blood,
I'll
when there's
wipe it
blood,
down.
then I wipe
When
that
they're
off.
ready.
I don't
It's
give
a
them a bath. I don't give them
Yeah,
a bath
that's not-
though. We don't
Yeah,
wash them with
it's
soap.
like-
Changing that barrier.
Yeah, no.
They
when
need
they have
that.
like
They need
long
all
hair.
those good bacterias on them.
And they smell good.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
smell good.
They do.
I love that baby
They don't smell like
So hopefully you found that helpful. If there was something that we didn't mention that was really important to you when you were having your baby, you know, I think everybody had some really great suggestions and it's a good place to start. I think that's why such a huge percentage of individuals choose home birth. Meeting this human becomes such a spiritual experience for most. And I think for me, I don't know how I would put it on a birth plan, but the rush.
Yeah.
I would just want
Slow
everyone to
down.
slow their roll. I was always so jealous when people's kids would come out. They like have their baby and they're like, oh my gosh, I love you, you're so cute. That was not me. My babies came out and I was like, holy sh**.
Give me a second.
I need a minute or two. And so like if you were filming that, like I'm literally like, I don't want to touch anything. I don't want anyone to talk to me, but I don't want you holding my baby either. Like I just want to
leave it alone.
minute. Let the kids sit there. They're gonna be fine. You know, and I don't know what that is. I don't know how you could create like this environment that slowed your roll without
Oh,
it
home birth
choosing
does.
that. And a home birth does that.
Home birth does
So when
that.
you're creating a baby plan, if your list starts looking like a book, it's time to like revisit
Where you're
Why
having
you're
your
having-
baby.
where you're having
Yeah.
your baby.
Yeah.
Because even as we've talked about this, there's things we haven't talked about, like no pacifiers, no bottles,
Medication.
jaundice issues and
Vitamin K.
glucose issues. You know, there's so many aspects. What's shocking to me is how quickly it all happens.
Yeah. Within
Like it just is
minutes.
like minutes,
Minutes,
they're
like,
done.
Hurry up.
Yeah, like even talking
Sad.
about physiologic cord clamping, right? That's one that
Mhm.
becomes really important to individuals. And we're talking like we're fighting for literally like maybe 5 minutes,
Yeah.
right? And like in the scheme of things, when did that 5 minutes become so
Much of a big deal.
much of a big deal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much of an ass.
So if you have something to share that helped your birth roll
Share it.
smoother, share it down below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week with more baby information. Okay, I want to make sure it's going.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Let that baby
They don't smell like poop.
No.
No, that comes later.
They have
it's
explosive
food.
diarrhea up their back into their hair.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's the worst.